Okay, in this podcast, I'd like to talk about signal detection theory. Okay, and so in some respects, when we're talking about signal detection theory, you have to keep in mind the concept of thresholds and absolute thresholds. So I'm going to start in this green section over here. So one of the claims of signal detection theory is that there is no absolute threshold. If you want to make it plural, there are no absolute thresholds. So why do they come to this? Why do they minimize the importance of absolute thresholds? Okay, so let's go to this gray area to see if we can help figure this out. And then again, during the rest of this podcast, we have to figure out, well, if they're saying there are no absolute thresholds, why are they saying that? And what are they trying then to, what is signal detection theory? What is it trying to not just prove, but what is it trying to analyze? What is it testing? Okay, so one thing is, remember from absolute thresholds, it's usually these ideal situations that we can hear the ticking of a watch from 20 feet away in an extremely quiet room. On an extremely clear night, we can see a candle from X miles away, right? So signal detection theorists saying, yeah, but most of us live in the real world, and there seldom are ideal conditions where there are not distractions and interference. So we're constantly trying to use our sensation perception in the face of distractions and interference. Think of this in ways of when you have your laptop in class and no matter how good the teacher is, we're all a little boring at times, and you can watch some YouTube video, you can check a score, right? There's distractions, right, that prevent you from attending to what you're supposed to be attending to at the time, right? And so the reason why this is important is because the concept of absolute thresholds doesn't take into consideration all of these things, right? All of these other factors that influence perception. So another way to think about this is signal detection theory is really about, can we detect a stimuli or a stimulus? And it's saying that there are other factors that influence detection, not just our receptor cells, right? Not just the sensitivity. There are other factors, and here they are for you, aligned, right? Here are some of them. But I want you to think about this in real life situations. Take this one. Imagine a quarterback playing a football game, and there's a blitz, which means that the defense is sending their defensive linemen, their linebackers, etc., at that quarterback. So this quarterback's got 250 to 300 pound fast, angry men approaching him at high speeds, wanting to hit him pretty hard. Might that influence whether or not he sees the wide receiver who's wide open downfield? Right? He's under some distress. He's trying to get away. So those are things that sometimes happen to us, when we're playing sports, but even in real life. Another example is, imagine you're at the dentist or at the doctor, and you have to get an injection or some procedure done. Well, pain seems to be, our sensitivity to pain and discomfort seems to increase the more tired we are. Right? So we detect that pain more acutely because of our fatigue, not because of just some threshold. Okay? Now, purpose of signal detection theory, right? We talked about what it investigates, right? But it's this idea right here. What will we perceive among competing stimuli? And given our own, talk about internal factors like our own fatigue, our own motivation, our own expectations, how this plays out in real life. Again, I want you to imagine doctors or healthcare professions who have to look at 50 slides a day or 100 slides a day to see whether or not cells are cancerous or not. Now, sometimes the cells can be very, very, easy to differentiate between cancer and non-cancerous cells, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's minute differences. So if you go back to this, what if your doctor is tired, right? What if his motivation is low? What if he is under emotional distress? Will he or she be more likely or less likely to detect a minute change in whether it be a microscopic slide or an X-ray, right? So those are the reasons why we want to figure out and pursue signal detection theory, because we want to make it more likely that we're setting up circumstances where people who do these sensitive jobs, whether it be people looking at radars, air traffic controllers, doctors, and healthcare workers, can actually be more successful. So maybe that means looking at less slides. There could be other ways in which we can increase the likelihood where people will not allow competing stimuli or internal factors to allow them not to perceive the stimuli we need them to perceive.